Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing tonight, today, this afternoon, this evening? Whenever you're watching this, I don't know. It's up to you. You put it in your watch later list. If you said, hey, I need to reference this back again, I do that all the time. All the time. Johnny J here, back at you. Yes, I'm going through a little bit more of a change, and I say that because I am trying to incorporate a lot of my hobbies. Excuse me, I am actually at the tail end of COVID, which really sucks for the second time. First time I had it was bad in some ways, second time I had it was bad in the other ways. Anyways, not the point. We're not here to get into sicknesses and politics and all the other hoopla. We're here to talk about, actually, not knives today. Today we're taking a little detour back to why I first actually started this channel, and that is about guitar products. Okay? Woo! Okay. Disclaimer. I am not endorsed by any company in this video. Okay? This isn't me saying this is the best product ever. Every opinion in here is mine. I was not paid by any company to make this video. The reason I am making this video is because a gentleman whose name is now whose name is now getting away from me, and I feel terrible. And we've been talking as of recent. Extremely, extremely nice gentleman. He knows who he is. And he reminded me of why I started talking about guitar stuff originally. Why I wanted to talk about guitar pickups and guitar strings and all this other stuff. It was because I felt like I had somebody who was there for me, my buddy Rob, and I've mentioned him before in past videos. And Rob's always been there, and he's still there. And Rob's just an absolute great guy, and I don't know where I would be in my tone journey. Maybe I would have way more money. I actually don't have as much gear. I've had to sell a lot of it. So, anyways, what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about something that I think is great for either beginners, intermediates, or people who just want to try different things. And I'll get into what I mean by that. There's a company called GFS. Okay? They make pickups. They're made in China. I'm not going to lie, made in China. They make all different kinds of guitar pickups. As you can see on the top, they have not only gold foil, but gold foil P90s, and they have humbuckers and different kind of humbuckers and tellies and strats and mini humbuckers. Almost endless supply of what they make for guitar pickups. So today, I'm not here to talk about what this humbucker is. I'm actually here to talk about why you, as a beginner or as an intermediate, or even just somebody who wants to regularly change out pickups, should look at this company. And the reason I mean that is that their pickups are actually relatively inexpensive. What I mean by inexpensive, some pickups are around $30 a pickup, and they can go up to about $40 depending if you get the more premium options. But why is that anything? I mean, there's so many great companies out there. There's DiMarzio, there's Duncan, or Seymour Duncan, I'm sorry. There's Bare Knuckles, there's this, there's that. Well, all those other companies don't have this. They don't have what's called a kwikiplug or quick plug, whatever you want to call it. This is a huge thing that I think is great. Is it bulletproof? I'm not going to lie, it's not. I've had other pickups that I was replacing on somebody else's guitar. But we don't know how old the pickups were. We don't know the extent of there's any damage or anything else. So I will give those a benefit of the doubt because we bought them used. It wasn't like I bought them new and then used them and then they broke. So I'm giving that the benefit of the doubt. We don't know what was done with the pickups beforehand. But what is it that I like about these pickups is this function right here. You can unplug the pickups from the back. Why is this important? Why is this, great or not great? Well, you know what? Pickups can cost a lot of money to change out. Okay? They can cost a lot of money. Okay? But you know what else can cost a lot of money eventually? Granted, it's not as much money, but it still can cost a lot of money. Potentiometers. Yes, the pots, your knobs. Your knob attaches to this. It twists the little mechanism inside. It tells you if you're fully loud or backed way off or somewhere in between. We usually relate this with a number, blah, blah, blah. This is a potentiometer, okay? Your potentiometer typically has different ins and outs, okay? In a standard setup, say maybe like a Les Paul type setup or basically like a non-Stratocaster type setup. So something that's like a dual humbucker or even 2 single coils, maybe, a single volume or something. It depends on how it is. But a lot of times what happens is your pickup leads, which these look terrible, I know. Don't judge me. Your pickup leads will have different things for them. Now, I believe in these, and I cannot remember off the top of my head. We're just gonna say random thing. It's not accurate, I know, but I'm just gonna say random thing. Typically, you'll have one hot. You may have a pair that you can split. So sometimes you'll have to tie them together and then tie them off, or if you have a coil splitting potentiometer, you can hook those up that way, and then you'll have a ground. Now, typically what you do is the ground will go to the back of the pot and the lead will go to the input of the potentiometer. So this is the input of the potentiometer, and typically this is the output of the potentiometer. Okay, I know it's kind of weird. And then you're like, well, what is this? Typically this one gets put to ground, so I'll bend that one back and usually solder it there. If it's so short that you can't do that, then you can use a little jumper wire. But typically you put your pickup into here, and then the output goes to whatever you want it to go to, whether it's the top 3-way toggle switch, the blade switch, the output jack, whatever it is you're going to, typically comes out from here. Now, why do I say that this is a big area? Well, in some guitars, and I mentioned Les Paul before, Les Pauls or even maybe a Stratocaster. I have a modified Stratocaster to my right, and the modified Stratocaster has a single P90 in the bridge, a single volume knob that then goes to an output jack. There's no other tone knobs. There's no other pickups. I'm a little too zoomed in right now to show you everything. But anyways, typically, I have a piece of paper here that I can do a little bit drawing and noodling on. Typically, when you run everything, right, and you run into all your pots and everything else, you have to screw all this stuff down. So you have to screw it down. You have to get certain heights. Now, what Gibson likes to do is they give you this metal bridge, this like metal tin. And anybody who owns a Gibson will know what I'm talking about. Not all years, not all makes and models do this. You can convert it to not do this, but typically all of them have this metal plate. This metal plate will have the holes to fit the potentiometers. I'm going to draw that a little bit bigger. Sometimes they'll have a little hole here because on some of the potentiometers, like right here, I don't know if you could see that, you can actually pry that up and it actually becomes like a lock. So it'll lock into this like little hole right here. So when it locks in, it won't move back and forth. Some do that, some don't. They may have holes like this on them. And then sometimes they'll have a middle contraption that usually stands straight up, but I'm going to, for the sake of the argument, I'm just going to, or for the sake of the picture, I'm just going to show that it's laid on its side. So typically it's soldered like right here in this area, and then it's usually looks like that, kind of. That's a very bad picture of it. Most modern Les Pauls will have this. Not all modern Les Pauls will have this, but most of them do. You can bypass it. You don't have to use it if you know how to wire your pickups. If you don't, or you know how to wire the guitar. If you don't, then typically you'll have your three-way toggle switch. So the three-way will be over here. The wires will come to here. A lot of times they'll get soldered here. Then they'll come back to a pot here and a pot here. And then some of the wires will then go past here to the output jack. Really fast, side note, it is an output jack. I know you plug in a guitar to it. I'm sorry, just had to grab the thing. This is a output jack. It outputs the signal, okay? Saying that right now, putting that out there. You want to disagree with me? Not gonna win. Sorry, I'm not a bad guy. I'm just educating anybody because you could be here for your first time. You could be just learning how to do guitar. You could be not understanding what's what. So this is your output jack. It outputs your signal. So that typically your output jack will be over here. The wires will all be attached to it. Yada, yada, yada. Bing, bang, boom. You're done. Now, why do I bring up the Les Paul style is because this whole entire plate, if you want to change one pot, so let's say you burn this pot out. Maybe you soldered it too many times. Maybe it got damaged. Maybe it got sweat. You got so much sweat in there from playing. Whatever happens. Maybe you got water in there. Who knows? I'm not here to tell you how to play your guitar or not play your guitar. Excuse me, I had a hiccup. The pot, if you want to replace this one pot, you have to remove this whole entire contraption, okay? Big pain in the butt. A lot of people don't like wiring Les Pauls. I love it. I don't know why I love it. I guess I love the challenge of it. But that's where, bringing it back, GFS and the kwikiplug come in. Because now, if I wanted, this is a high output, they call it a, what do they call this? A crunchy pat high output. So it's basically like a higher output. I believe it might be ceramic. Some are Alnico. This one might be ceramic. I think it's based on a DiMarzio super distortion type thing. That's kind of the feel I get from it. But anyways, point being, I'm like, oh, this is great. I really love this pickup. I put it in my guitar. I play it for a while, and I'm like, I realized that I'm not a high output guy, high output pickup kind of guy. What do I do at that point? Okay, so this is what you do. You go to GFS, you pick up a different pickup. I don't have any other GFS pickups right now. All you do is you remove your pickup ring in your guitar. So the top of the guitar will have a pickup ring, 4 screws. You pull out those 4 screws. You literally unplug this from the back. You put this pickup, after you took off the pickup ring, put that to the side, okay? Now you're like, oh, I bought a vintage PAF style pickup, which I'm not going to get into that. I don't like using that term PAF, but it's a regularly used term nowadays. It's It's a long story why I don't like using it, because I don't think it's a proper term, but I'm not going to get into that because we're already 15 minutes into this video. So now we're going to pretend that this is our lower output pickup, okay? So I'm going to grab the new pickup and say, oh, this looks great. Oh, I don't have to do any soldering. I just have to plug in the new pickup, just like that, re-put the surrounding or the pickup ring on, screw it back into the body, put my strings back on, I'm done. I don't have to go back here. I don't have to solder this. I don't have to fiddle around with the wires. I don't have to know, oh, crud, was it what like just happened now? Because I know this is ground, but I couldn't remember if the red is output or if the white, because every company is different. Every company is different. You go online, you look up pickup color codes, like guitar pickup color code, okay? You will get literally a list that looks like this, like on your screen, because it's, it's a phone. And it literally is different color combinations for what's hot, what's not. Okay, perfect example. This is a different brand, okay? The hot on this is black. There's a green, I don't know if you can see that. There's a green and a bare wire that are your ground. And then right here is a red and white that get soldered together and took off for, so there's the coil splitting, okay? This is a different pickup, okay? So just showing you it's a different pickup. So every pickup company does it a little bit different. So instead of having to guess, instead of having to possibly overheat your pots, which I have done when I first started, and I was like, man, I want this pickup. Oh no, I want this pickup. Oh no, I really want this pickup. Oh no, this other pickup, whatever company it is. You hit this pot with your hot iron, and I also didn't understand the heat of an iron and how hot you're supposed to have your iron. Not as hot as you think you would. All of a sudden my pots started burning out, or solder can actually get from down here, travel in, and get inside here, okay? So I'm telling you, not only are the pickups relatively great in price, they sound decent. I've yet to hear a GFS that I didn't think sounded bad. I don't, you know what I mean? It's not that they sound terrible. I mean, are they the best sounding pickup in the world? Granted, I haven't played one that most of the time I get the GFS pickups, because I want to try something different. That being said, I should probably get upset that I want to actually give a shot. Now, the Strat that I converted to a P90 does not have a GFS pickup in it, but I was strongly considering one. The only reason why I didn't go with that is because I saw this other company that was selling a pickup for like $20 on Reverb, and I was a little bit shorter for money, and I said, you know what, it's fine, I'll do the job. And it actually sounds really good. So I haven't really thought about it much, but in the future, I would consider getting a GFS pickup for that guitar. And the reason why is that originally that guitar had a humbucker in it, which you can go from a gold foil humbucker to a standard humbucker to a hot humbucker, just using the pictures as an example. I know I'm being very descriptive, but you know what? I'd rather say too much and have you guys be bored with it than not say enough and have you guys be like, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? So I'm telling you right now, yes, these aren't as expensive as pickups, but you go through so many of these and it adds up. I mean, one of these can cost upwards of, we'll say, $10 probably nowadays because of all the inflation and everything. You have 4 of these that you have to replace because you're soldering so much. That's $40, okay? That's the same cost as one of these pickups with the kwikiplug, okay? Or one of these could be even cheaper than that. Then on top of that, let's say your three-way switch goes. That could be another 20 something dollars, because if you get, especially get like a Switchcraft switch, they're probably even pushing $30. The Switchcraft, which is one of the brands that I strongly recommend for everything except for pots, I recommend CTS or Bournes. It depends on what you like. Quick side note, the reason why I like CTS is they have a very tight, I don't want to call it tight, but they have a almost like a hydraulic kind of taper, they call it, where it's not whoo, you don't just touch it and it flies off. You have to actually put it where you want it to be. Whereas there's another company called Bournes. If you want that really fast, like whoop 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 up and down, the Bournes pots are great for that. They do make a great pot. I just happen to really prefer CTS pots. So typically I do CTS pots because they last a while. I do Switchcraft switches and output jacks because they last a while. But if you have other good electronics in there and then you just happen to have this, there's no big deal. So Guitar Fetish has not paid me at all. Like I said, I'm not endorsed by any company here. Guitar Fetish is the company. They sell the GFS pickups. And heck, give it a shot. If you're a beginner or you're like, hey, I really want to try some new tones, I want to try something different, the pickups I have in my guitar aren't doing it for me. These actually do sound great for the price. I mean, yeah, they're made in China, like I said, but they're not built terrible. I don't see anything, that looking at this pickup and it just flashes like cheap quality to me. I mean, I love my Pariah pickups. He's a great guy. He made this custom pickup for me and it was a good price, but it looks a little bit nicer because it's a custom made pickup and stuff, but as far as like main quality, it's not like it's that much worse, but I don't want to undermine how great this is at the same time. Okay, this might be a bad example because this is a custom pickup, so I'm going to retract that. I'm going to say, okay, here we go. This is another company. This is Balaguer, whatever. I don't know 100% how to pronounce it. I mean, you look at the bottoms, they look pretty much the same. I mean, this is covered, obviously, but I mean, there's really not much difference in quality, and these are, $100-something a pickup, give or take. So I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with GFS. I mean, people nowadays, I'm going to probably get some hate for this, but people want to sit there and be like, oh, you need to get a bare knuckle pickup, or oh, you need to get Lawlers, or oh, you need to get this brand or that brand, or you need to spend $600-700 on these quote unquote area vintage correct paths. And it's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. You can get by and do an amazing job with something like this. I actually recently installed in a Les Paul style guitar, the GFS. They have these humbucker size P90s because the guy has Les Paul, but it wasn't routed for P90s and he really wanted P90s. So we put those in it and he absolutely loves it and doesn't complain about it at all. So, I mean, if you're on a budget, if you're new to the guitar world and you, like I said, you're just like, what, I really want to try something different, but I don't want to go and buy this or that or whatever it is, check out the GFS pickups, man. I mean, they're a good price. They have the quick link, the kwikiplug, which I think is absolutely genius idea. It makes a lot of sense. Okay. You guys have a great night, and I don't know when I'm going to record the next video, if I'm going to put it out before this or after this, but could be another knife video, could be another guitar video. Like, comment, subscribe, tell me what I could do better, tell me what I could do worse. I like to hear all points of views. Just be nice, okay? I try to do my videos unedited. I try to give you honest answers, and I try to give you what you need to hear, okay? And if it's stop spending so much on guitar pickups because they're not worth as much as you think sometimes, believe me, I've spent too much money on guitar pickups. So I have sold them and made majority of my money back, but I have spent too much money on guitar pickups, and I could tell you they weren't worth what I thought they were. You know, when I first got them, I was like, yes, this is the company. Everybody's playing these, you know, all the metal guys, all the doom guys, all these guys, that guys. And at the end of the day, I'm just end up selling them. And, you know, I mean, my current Les Paul right now, I have a set of DiMarzios, which, you know, not a lot of people play DiMarzios, I feel like, in a way nowadays. I mean, some people do, but I feel like a lot of people don't talk about them as much. In my Squire, I have a $20 pickup that sounds amazing. Unfortunately, I had to sell some of my other guitars due to the rising cost of everything. Not going to get political. Okay. Take care, guys. Be safe. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you have questions. Take care, guys. Bye.